So we're up to Module 5, Lesson 3, and here we're going to deal with a little bit about multiplication. So what it says here is that look at the diagram, the tape diagram, as the sum of unit fractions, and then write a multiplication sentence. The first one is done for you. So if you look here, this is 3/4. We can tell that because there's the 1 up there on top, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces to it. So we know that it's 3 out of the 4 pieces that make the whole. So one way of doing that is to write it as an addition of unit fractions. Unit fraction is a fraction with the numerator being 1. And another one is to say, hey, I have 3 sets of 1/4. And when I do that, that's the same thing as adding 1/4 3 times. So 3 times 1/4 is equal to 3/4. So let's look at the next one. So the next one, what we're going to first off do is we're going to figure out what the fraction is. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that are making one whole piece. So that means this fraction is going to be 2 out of 5. And if I were to write that down, I'd write it as 1/5 plus 1/5 as a multiplication sentence. And then if I were to write it as a multiplication sentence, I'd say 2/5 is equal to 2 times 1/5. Now these next ones are a little bit harder. You have to pay attention to this part up here to make sure you're getting the right fraction to begin with. So if I were to do this one here, I know I'm working in thirds because I've got 1, 2, 3. Remember, you can forget the other 2 for right now because I'm trying to figure out what type of fraction I'm working with. I'm going to write it up here. So I've got working in thirds, and I've got a total of 5/3. So if I were to write that as a unit fraction addition problem, it would look like this. And if I were to write it as a multiplication problem, it would look like this. 5/3 is equal to 5 times 1/3. Hopefully you'll be able to get the other one and practice it with that. Now in these type of problems, what we're going to do is we're going to draw out the fraction. We're going to write it as a decomposed fraction, unit fraction. Then we're going to write it as a multiplication problem as well. So the first step is writing 4/5 as a fraction. So let's do that. So that's going to be 4 lines drawn there, and then that's divided into fifths. So 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. Written as unit fraction addition, it will look like this. And as a multiplication problem, it's going to look like this. Now I think you're going to be able to figure out most of the rest of these, or at least B and C. So let's skip down and let's go to actually D here. So 7/4. So once again, we have to set up the 7. We have to set up the fourths. So here we go. That's my fourths, and so I have 7/4. So I'm going to make sure I do this here to make it really clear that that's my one whole unit. Then I'm going to draw some extra boxes here. I need 3 more boxes. Looks pretty close. And then I'm going to color them all in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is 7/4. Now I'm going to write it as a unit fraction, addition problem, and then I'll write it as a multiplication problem. So that's how these work, and good luck.